navigating California's emission regulations and Texan car ownership perspectives. Let's delve in.
Here in California, what Texas does in this type of scenario, like I want to own a car just like a Texan owns a car, and it's going to be just the same price. I want to have a small check just like Texas, which is a safety tax.
You're listening to
In the Loop, North County, where we talk about nothing and everything, both at the same time. I am your host, Victor Bonuelos. Joining me is Ricky, Tommy, and Chris. This episode is sponsored by Centric Auto Repair. Is your check engine light on? Need brakes? Trust the experts at Centric Auto Repair to ensure your vehicle is running smoothly and safely. Call today.
So, one of the questions that I keep getting asked is, hey, do I still have to smog my car? Guys, until this thing is passed, we still have to follow the emissions regulations here in California. I'm getting calls from people saying, oh, well, my car's been in the garage. I don't know what to do. Do I fix it? Do I don't? Do I wait? Don't wait. If you need to get your tags, you got to have smog. So when we talk to you guys about this Freedom Act, we're not telling you guys to wait. We're telling you what's coming in the future. Okay, so this bill, the CARB, this all started in 1967 by Ronald Reagan. He started this regulation as far as pollution and all that stuff, try to control emissions in the air. Now it's got here, fast forward 2025, they find out how much money California is putting or getting from us for regulating our emissions.
I think it started in the airports. It was starting like in the seaports and all that stuff. Like those areas were really smoggy and producing. So back when the Reagan days, they started it just for those, and then it just expanded into a money grab.
Yeah, it got huge. So now, here's one of the important things about this thing. Don't panic. I personally believe it's going to pass, and here's the reason that I think it's going to pass. This is a bipartisan bill. Okay, I don't know if we've told you guys that before, but it is bipartisan. So it's not just the red side, it's not just the blue side. And I only use that because this isn't a political podcast. We're just here informing you guys on stuff that's going to help you, the consumer. So if it's not all the red, it's going to be some of the blue, or it's not, whatever it is, it's bipartisan. So everybody gets a vote. They only need 60 votes for this thing to pass. Okay, and there's a lot of backing coming from the blue side of the bill. Okay, but I think the red side's all for it. The blue side is there's a lot of people that are pushing for it. Some can say absolutely not, but there's going to be the ones that say, you know what, this has got to stop, and it's going to stop. I truly believe it.
Gavin Newsom?
Nah, I don't think he's running scared. That guy's running scared. So, and then another thing that leads us to believe that this is going to be a landslide is that the people that are in the CARB office, they're starting to book it. They're starting to transfers. They're trying to go to this department.
Yeah,
we're
witnessing that right now, that they're looking for jobs. Yeah. They're jumping ship. And so, I mean, that leads me to believe, hey, you know what? If I came in one day and I see my boss starting to sell racks and just one computer from the ones that we have, guess what? I'm leaving because something's not right. And that's where we're at now. I mean, California's gone completely bonkers. So here's what we have to do, guys. What we have to do is we have to follow regulations right now. Okay? There's a lot of stuff that's if they're parking it in their garage and waiting for after this, as long as you're not driving it, so it's not illegal.
Right.
But they're still going to come after you for the fees and dues. And maybe you don't have to smog it at that time, but they're going to still come after you. You know, so if you have a little bit of patience and park it.
And if you want to stop, I would probably advise you to maybe go get a non-op. Just go get a non-op. If you're not going to run it, if you don't want to rack up fees.
Explain what a non-op is.
A non-op is a non-operating permit. That means that your car is not being used for nothing. It's sitting where it's at until you can get the money together to fix it. So if you do get the non-op on those vehicles that are older vehicles, like I said, the part that's going to benefit them is going to be the useful life of the emission system. So if you have a 1986 vehicle and you have to still smog it and you get a non-op, okay, when you go to smog it, you're not going to have to, when this bill passes, you're not going to have to redo the emission system. You're going to have to go in there and do what you have to do to get it to run and register your vehicle. State inspections are still going to be there. I was in Maine about over a year ago with my son, and there was just all those inspections were safety inspections. They do check your brakes, they check the emissions,
or they check your
none of the
your
emissions,
pipe.
just brakes, your
They
lights.
check your pipes. They check the tail pipes to make sure they're not leaking. If they do, all you got to do is weld it to spot weld or replace a section of pipe. But they don't do the sniffing. All that's going to be gone. They don't do the pipe sniffing. They don't do none of that. So, I mean, we're going to save a lot of money as consumers.
So, we're just going to be like another state. That's what it is. Because
Right.
as everybody else is doing federal standards, and we got California over here that's doing their own standards.
Correct.
That
and that's the goal, is to have one big federal thing. The only way we're going to ever do smog after this going is if the federal government says, hey, you've got to get a smog. But at that point, it's going to be federal. So it's going to be everybody, not just California, not just whoever else does emissions. Not too sure how that goes. But if the federal government says, hey, you know what, we're getting kind of nuts on this, everyone has to start doing smogs again. So we revert back. But I believe that if they do that, it's going to be more regulated as opposed to being gouged. So.
And that's the key word, gouge. There was a comment on that somebody was like, you get what you pay for. That's why you live in California. I was like, no, you're not listening to the whole podcast. It's like, I want to be able to do here in California what Texas does in this type of scenario. Like, I want to own a car just like a Texan owns a car, and it's going to be just the same price. I want to have a small check just like Texas, which is a safety check. I want their pricing on the safety inspection, and that's it. I think Arizona does, like, you can prepay your inspection for every 2 years.
I think so, yeah.
Something like that, or your not inspection, the registration
Tax.
Why can't I do here? Now, I know every country has their different laws, or every state has different laws and different way of running things, but there's some basic things us as living people, that we're traveling on all the same roads.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all have the Second Amendment, the right to hold a gun. Why is it different here to Texas? It's the Constitution. Why do we got to jump through loops, to protect our families?
To kind of put it in perspective, US 95 that I know that the US 95 starts in Las Vegas. And I found out a couple of days ago that US 95 runs across the country to Maine, or Massachusetts, Maine. So can you imagine how many different laws have you passed from getting just on the 95?
You broke like 20 laws.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just to stop, be like, well, how much would my registration be here? How much would it be here? Because I know what I got to pay in California or even in Nevada. It's crazy.
It's just like when we see those YouTube videos, people come from Arizona and there's tint allowed over there, and they come in and they get pulled over here.
Yeah, they got to peel off the tint store all over again. It's crazy.
Yeah, during the whole fight is like, dude, I'm not from California. I'm just visiting.
Right, just pushing through.
So, did you hear about the Jay Leno bill?
No.
So, Jay Leno bill is another smog bill where they're trying to. So when classic cars back in the day, were made exempt, it was 30 years or 35 years.
Right.
Okay. And then California, of course, hey, let's make some money and get rid of cars and all this stuff. And they made it to 1975 and older.
Oh, yeah.
So Jay Leno's bill is trying to bring back the 30 years.
Okay.
So if we do, what's 2025 minus 30? It's being the 80s.
90s, 95.
Yeah? Can you imagine the Honda Civic 91 hatchback drop with my old high school car?
That would be dope.
Smog exempt. I mean, that's how it was originally, made. The bill was 30 years and older was classic, and then of course California got into all this stuff and stopped it at 75. So the Jay Leno bill that they're calling it, is trying to attack that. What's a real classic, and it should go back to the 30 years.
It's the Senate Bill 712, guys, if you're interested in looking it up. Get a little bit more information on it. But yeah, guys, just as of right now, we do have to follow California regulations as far as emissions go. If you want to non-op your car, wait, then go ahead. You can do it when you're getting your real ID. Just non-op that car.
Aside from that, guys, we're going to keep you up to date. Every time we get something new, we're going to come back to you guys. Continue sending comments. Continue calling. I have no problem answering phone calls. We are sponsored by Centric Auto Repair here in San Marcos, California. So when you get this, if you have any questions, call me. I'm Ricky. This is Victor. Give us a call. We'll answer whatever. And if you have questions, we'll research it and we'll put it on the pod. Like that, everybody can get the information that you're looking for.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe because you're going to get updates. That little bell that's down there. Every time we have updates, you'll be notified.
Also, if you're not a YouTube person, you are now. Go to Spotify. We're on Spotify. In the Loop, North County on Spotify. This is Ricky and Vic. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Peace.